It's been 10 days since the official announcement of the Nintendo Switch 2, and it's had a lot of people talking. Why did I do the Trump hands? It's had a lot of people talking about where Nintendo are going to go this generation, because we've seen the Switch generation is iconic and always will be iconic, but I think we can agree that the last 2 years or so, where it's kind of felt like we've just been waiting for the new console, it's kind of been a bit of a mixed bag overall. But today I specifically want to just sit down in front of the camera, me and you, mano a mano, mano a womano, to talk about one very specific thing. And that's the idea of yet another Ocarina of Time remake. People have been talking about what Zelda's going to do next on the Switch 2. Next year, 2026, I think will be massive because it's 40 years of Zelda. If they don't do something, we're all going to riot, and we'll start it here on this YouTube channel. And obviously we know that, well, we think we know that Breath of the Wild Remastered is coming to Switch 2. But what about a remake for Ocarina of Time? Today, I'm just going to sit in front of the camera. I'm going to give you my thoughts and chat through it. Welcome back to the Zelda Realm YouTube channel. It's really great to have you on board, and I just want to say a massive thank you for the support on last week's video. Genuinely is mind-blowing, and I'm so glad that so many of you have resonated, just like these comments that are up on screen right now. If you do want to get featured, make sure to leave a comment down below. I'll put two of my favourite ones up here in next week's video. At 1,000 subscribers, guys, I'm going to be releasing a Tears of the Kingdom retrospective. At 500 subs, I'll tell you what the title is, so get on board and let's keep marching towards that goal. Alright, without further ado, let's chat about it. So, this is slightly different for me. Usually, if you've watched my videos, you know they're usually scripted. They're, I'm very polite into the microphone, all that kind of stuff. But to be fully transparent, working a full-time job and producing 4 high-quality video essays a month is just not possible. So, once a month, we're just going to sit down, me and you, and the camera, and I'm just going to talk through a topic that has come up that I don't know if it needs a video essay, but it's interesting enough. And this week I just want to talk about the Ocarina of Time remake, because there's been a bit of chat about bringing back Ocarina of Time as a new release to upscale the graphics, to improve that, to make a remake, to maybe tell Navi to just be a wee bit, just quieten down please, especially with the game being 27 years old. Now, there's a longer period of time, this blew my mind when I realised this. There's a longer period of time between the release of the 3D remake and now than there was between the original release and the release of that 3D remake. So Ocarina of Time 3D released in 2011, which means it's been 14 years since it came out, and there was 13 years between the original and the remake. So people say we're due one. Now, personally, I just want to talk about a couple of things. Really, it's the pros and the cons. So, pros are, Ocarina of Time is one of the greatest games ever made, ever. It's my number one of all time. And a remake on the Switch 2 would not only bring it to the masses, because, don't be mistaken, but Zelda is more popular now than it really ever has been. So that'll be the first reason, because more people will play it. And if you've played the Switch Online version, and it's just a little bit, the controls are a bit difficult, it just doesn't look great. It's not timeless graphically in the same way that Wind Waker or Breath of the Wild will be, because when you do the cartoon art style, if the only thing you need to do is improve the resolution, then it's a timeless game. Breath of the Wild, if that thing runs at 4K 60 FPS, that's it, right? Timeless. People have commented on this channel saying they've picked it up for the first time in 2023 and it's just as good. And there's very few games you can say now that you can pick up 6 years later and be like, wow, that hasn't aged. Ocarina of Time has aged, not amazingly. And I think if you bring it to Switch 2 with a full graphical overhaul, a total change in the art style, not art style, but like more like the 3D remake, but even better. If this thing can run at PS4 Pro levels, then let's see that in a Zelda game. But I think there's too many people that have heard of Ocarina of Time and have never experienced it, because Zelda has started to come back into that mainstream narrative where people are playing the game. You know, Breath of the Wild sold something crazy like 43 million copies or something ridiculous. Tears of the Kingdom sold, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm pretty sure it was like multiple millions, like close to 10 in the first 2 weeks or first month, something like that. More people are playing Zelda, but I don't think enough people will want to play the original Ocarina of Time. So that's why I think it would be a good thing. I also think for us as fans, seeing that game, given that like upscale treatment, even making it timeless, and then you never have to remake it again. Okay, and this is the point I want to get to. This is the deeper point. The games industry is plagued at the minute with remasters and remakes. We are living in an era, just in life in general, where things that were cool or in phase 40 years ago are cycling back round. So that's hairstyles, we're talking fashion, we're talking vinyl, and then we look at games. We look at the Zelda games that were released on the Switch. So it used to be that we got Zelda games like every 18 months, every 2 years. And we maintained that on the Switch, but let's go through the games that released, because 3 of them, in fairness, were new, but 2 of them were remakes or remasters. And we're living in an era where people are making remakes of classic games. So I'm currently playing through Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake because I never played the original. Yes, that is a good thing for me to play that game, but I worry that we're getting into a cycle now in the games industry where we are relying so much on nostalgia and fan hype to earn a profit. So no longer do companies really take risks. We don't see it as much. We look at the PlayStation situation, if you're in touch at all. I'm very in touch with kind of all spheres of gaming, but obviously PlayStation, they were trying a live service thing, and they're basically going, let's just take all our main IPs, so like The Last of Us, God of War, Horizon, let's turn them to live service, and they've cancelled them all because they've realised that doesn't work. What are we doing? But they're looking to cash in on the stuff that already exists, rather than thinking, well, what is it that got these games the excitement in the first place? Oh wait, we took a risk, we made a new IP, and we released it. And when it comes to Zelda, Nintendo have always prioritised Zelda as the innovation franchise. This is the franchise that we're going to innovate on. With Mario, we're just going to release like 137 million different variants of Mario games. We're going to take every sport that exists and we're going to make a Mario game on it. We're going to go Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Mario Football. Let's get Mario Badminton involved. Come on, why not release a Mario Gymnastics? Because that's the way it goes. But with Zelda, specifically with Zelda, Nintendo have always been very, very protective of that IP. It is always given such great treatment, in my opinion, and they have always never been afraid to try something new with the franchise. I worry that we set a dangerous precedent by taking the old games and then re-releasing them as remakes. So, what I don't want the Switch 2 to become for Zelda releases is, well, I do want these games, by the way, but I don't want this chronology of games. So I really do want Wind Waker and Twilight Princess to be ported to the Switch, because they're like the 2 biggest games that aren't there. Like pretty much everything else is on there. What I don't then want is we get Ocarina of Time remake, then people are like, why don't we just do the same for Majora's Mask? So then we get another Majora's Mask remake, similar to what they did with 3DS. Then it's like, alright, now it's time to bring over Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass, but let's change the gameplay because they're disrespected games. I disrespect them. I know people have told me off. I get it. I just didn't like the controls. And then it just becomes like Zelda the remake station. Whenever what I'm desperate for, and I think what you're probably desperate for as well, is for a new original 3D Zelda that goes back to the roots, that goes, let's do a traditional 3D Zelda game with dungeons, with the quest structure that we know and love from Ocarina of Time. I'm not saying copy Ocarina of Time, but I'm saying let's bring back the 3D Zelda and let's bring a new one. And if your graphical fidelity on the Switch 2 is that of a PS4 Pro. I want to see you push that thing to the limits and give me the most beautiful Zelda game you can produce on the Switch, and let's get the traditional fans back on side, because I said it last week, my biggest fear is that the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom success means that we're going to see more open world Zelda games, and we're going to continue to divide the fan base in half here, like, oh, I really like the traditional games, and then it's like other ones like, well, oh, I've only played Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, I do not like the linear games, they're boring. That's what I'm worried about. And as great as an Ocarina of Time remake would be, I would only be happy if it was a one-off. So what I don't want to be seeing is remake station coming your way, where it's remake, one new game, remake. Can't be doing it. Cannot be doing it. So that's my thoughts. As a game itself, look, Ocarina of Time is generational. It is what got me into gaming in the first place. It's why I'm sitting here in front of this camera, awkwardly trying to film a YouTube video. You know, it's one of the greatest experiences I've ever had with a computer game. And it still is, even with the janky controls and Switch Online, that is still true. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know what you think of an Ocarina of Time remake of a remake. You know, I think we all have different opinions in this. I love Zelda. Like, I'm wearing my Zelda jumper. You know, Zelda, it's unbelievable. Okay, I've got my thing behind me. Thank you so much for watching. I announced a few days ago that I'm going to start live streaming here on the Zelda Realm YouTube channel once a week, and that will be scheduled soon, but work commitments mean I won't be able to get that started until the back end of the week after you're seeing this video. And I'm going to be streaming the only Zelda game I've never played, which is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Is it really a Zelda game? That's what we're going to be finding out. Next week you can expect the video essays back. I'm actually currently writing a script for why Link's isolation is key to defeating Ganon, which kind of is going to explore Link's journey through Ocarina of Time through the perspective of, well, he's a lonely guy, but it's key to defeating him. And guys, if there's any video topics you'd like to see, why not comment them down below? There's so much we can do with Zelda, there's so many different things we can talk through, so many different ideas that I have. But I'm just really keen to keep pushing and getting these videos out every week for you to enjoy. So hope you like this more kind of personal discussion type video. You'll be getting these once a month, towards the back end of the month, every month. I'm just going to sit down, me and the microphone and the camera. It allows me to script my videos to the highest quality for the other 3 weeks of the month. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. I'm going to flash up a video for you to watch now on the end screen. Go click it if you haven't seen it before. It really helps me out. And until next week, I've been the Zelda Realm, and I'll see you then.